A mochi moment from Mark, who writes, I just want to thank you for making GLP-1s affordable. What would have been over $1,000 a month is just $99 a month with Mochi. Money shouldn't be a barrier to healthy weight. 3 months in, and I have smaller jeans and a bigger wallet. You're the best. Thanks, Mark. I'm Myra Ahmed, founder of Mochi Health. To find your Mochi moment, visit joinmochi.com.
Mark is a Mochi member compensated for his story.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
Voices for Justice is a podcast that uses adult language and discusses sensitive and potentially triggering topics, including violence, abuse, and murder. This podcast may not be appropriate for younger audiences. All parties are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Some names have been changed or omitted per their request or for safety purposes. Listener discretion is advised. My name is Sarah Turney, and this is Voices for Justice. Today, I'm discussing the case of Nicole and Arianna Fitts. Like so many people in the U.S., 32-year-old Nicole Fitts was struggling with housing insecurity. She worked at Best Buy in San Francisco, California, and would often travel up to 4 hours a day to commute to work from wherever she was staying at the time. Sometimes the commute was so bad, Nicole would just crash on a couch until her next shift. This meant she would have to leave her 2-year-old daughter Arianna with a babysitter for extended periods of time. This was the reality of trying to make ends meet for Nicole. Eventually, one of her coworkers noticed what she was going through just to get to work each day, and offered for her and Arianna to move in with her. Nicole was ecstatic. She scraped together enough money to get Arianna a new bed and told the babysitter she was coming to pick up her daughter. But she was met with resistance from the babysitter, saying that they were out of town taking Arianna to Disneyland. She'd have to grab her daughter another day. Nicole was upset, obviously because she was ready to pick up her daughter, but also because they didn't tell her they'd be taking Arianna out of town. According to Nicole's new roommate, Goyette, the plan was for Nicole to pick up her daughter on April 3rd, 2016. But on the night of April 1st, Nicole withdrew a large amount of money from her bank account, saying she was going to meet the babysitter and would be back in 5 minutes. A week later, Nicole's body was found in a local park, and Arianna remains missing to this day. This is the case of Nicole and Arianna Fitts. Nicole Fitts was one of 3 girls raised by a single mother. They moved around a bit, but ultimately settled in Culver City, California. Catherine was the oldest, Nicole was the middle child, and Contessa was the youngest. For this episode, Contessa was kind enough to do an interview with me, and she told me that Nicole always felt like the baby of the family because she was so shy, sweet, and kept to herself. Nicole had a pure heart, got good grades, and was a teacher's pet, even wanting to be a teacher at some point herself. In high school, she spent much of her time volunteering for various programs, including at the Culver Recreational Center. She even received an award from the city of LA for her work with the center. Here is Contessa to tell us more about what Nicole was like.
Growing up with Nikki, so Nikki is what my sisters and I called her Nicole. She's my older sister. She's a year older than I am. Growing up, actually, I always kind of felt like I was the older sibling. Nikki was always shy and just kind of shy and kind of kept to herself a lot. And us being just a year apart, there was 3 of us girls growing up, and us being a year apart, we were the closest. Always a year apart in school. My mom would even dress us the same very often, so people always thought we were twins. we Nikki and I were in Girl Scouts together for a couple of years, um, and yeah. Yes, when she was a teenager, she would volunteer for the neighborhood, the local like park and rec center. She would spend pretty much every day after school volunteering her time there with the local kids who would come, the decorations for the park, um, the another rec center that was in close proximity in the neighborhood there. She would volunteer tons of her time at school with different projects and functions and things going on there, along with my mom. So she got awards from the school as well, and award from the city. And that was her as a teenager, and that's just how she continued to be, and into her adulthood. Anyone who's ever met Nikki can tell you just how kind and selfless she is. Again, sometimes to a fault, but she always looked out for people ahead of herself. One of my favorite stories to tell is how she the person who eventually became her roommate, like how they became friends was they worked together, and I can't remember who was new. One of them was new. Either Nikki was new or this other person was new. And one of their first interactions with each other, this person forgot to bring their lunch to work. So Nikki went out and got her lunch. And that's just, the kind of person Nikki is. It's just, she wouldn't let people go without. I remember one time she was telling me about how when she was going to get her tax return, how she was going to buy blankets for the homeless. And, I thought that was great of her, but I actually had to tell her, like, you probably, that's a great idea, but you should probably, take care of yourself as well. Like, you can do that, but like, don't spend all of your money on that. Like, you need some things as well. And so, yeah, that's just the kind of giving person that Nikki is.
Unfortunately, tragedy struck the Fitts family while the girls were in high school when their mother passed away from cancer. From here, they were split up as adults in their life scrambled to care for the three sisters.
Yeah, when I was 15 and Nikki was 16, our mom died. She died of cancer, and we mostly just had to be there for each other. Luckily, we had, very gratefully, we had, different families that we knew from the neighborhood that we were growing up in, and they were kind enough to take us in, and certain situations would happen, with that, they had to move on to other things, and so then we'd have another family who would help us out and take us in, and it wasn't easy for her two teenage kids to lose their mom, but Nikki and I having each other, I think it's definitely what helped get us through it, because like I said, it wasn't easy at all. And like I said, very grateful for the people who were there and took us in and helped us out. Eventually, Nikki and I ended up splitting because Nikki ended up going to the Job Corps, and I ended up moving in with someone else who took me in and sent me to school. And but yes, very difficult time, and like I said, I think having each other is what got us through it.
This episode of Voices for Justice is brought to you by Quince. I've been trying to be more intentional about what I wear each day. I'm leaning into pieces that feel effortless, comfortable, and still put together, and Quince has been my go-to. The fabrics feel elevated, the fits are flattering, and everything just works without overthinking it. They use premium materials like 100% European linen, organic cotton, and ultra-soft denim. And the best part? Everything is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middlemen, so you're paying for quality and craftsmanship, not brand markup. I recently just ordered their tiered linen dress, of course in black. I wanted to pair it with one of my favorite pairs of brown wedges. The problem was, I didn't have a brown purse. So I got that from Quince too. It's one of my favorite outfits. It's easy, effortless, and feels amazing, especially as we're getting a little bit warmer here in Phoenix. Refresh your everyday with luxury you'll actually use. Head to quince.com/justice for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/justice for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/justice.
You know that thing where you get an amazing pair of shoes at a really great price and want to tell everyone about it? Yeah, so do we. Here at Designer Shoe Warehouse, we'll give you something to brag about, like the latest styles from brands you love, or the trends everyone's obsessing over, or shoes that make you feel like, well, you. So go ahead, show off a little. Find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today. DSW, let us surprise you.
Jumping forward a bit, in 2011, Nicole, Contessa, and Contessa's girlfriend, Claire, decide to move in together. They choose an apartment in Pacifica, just outside of San Francisco. Basically, it's the closest place to San Francisco they could afford. If you weren't from the US, or maybe just not familiar with the area, in 2011, the cost of living in San Francisco was one of the highest in the country. It was about 61% above the national average at that time. It was just below the cost of living in Honolulu, Hawaii, so a very pricey city to live in. Then, Nicole got pregnant with Arianna and fell behind on her end of the rent. So the trio decided it was time to find more affordable housing elsewhere. Contessa and Claire moved to Santa Cruz, over an hour away, but Nicole really wanted to stay in the area, so she ended up staying in a local women's shelter. After learning that Nicole went to this shelter, I asked Contessa about Arianna's father. Contessa doesn't even know his name, but she knows that once Nicole got pregnant, he didn't want to be involved. Arianna was born on September 6, 2013. Despite the distance, Nicole and her sister Contessa remained pretty close, and they saw each other often. Here is Contessa to tell us about what Arianna is like.
She was always a happy kid, just energetic, and it's quite contagious. Another thing that one of my favorite things to tell about Arianna is just, I remember anytime we were in public with Arianna, she would just smile and wave at people, and people were very responsive to it, and they would smile and wave back. She just has this magnetic energy about her, and she's just very curious about things, and I just remember her always smiling, and such a bond she had with her mom too. Again, out in public, the happiest little kid. But if her mom stepped away, she wasn't happy about that. She would get quite upset. I remember, going out to dinner, with all of us, Claire and Nikki and Arianna, and Arianna just happily, drawing with the little paper and crayon thing that they give the kids. I have some pictures of her just like the biggest grin with her two little front teeth. Just always smiling, happy kid.
While living at the shelter, Nicole meets a self-proclaimed evangelical street preacher named Lemasani Briggs. Lemasani offered Nicole a place to stay and childcare for Arianna, an offer that Nicole just couldn't refuse. At first, it seemed like things were going well. Nicole got a job at the local Best Buy store, her living situation improved, and she had someone she thought she could trust to watch her daughter. But it was too good to be true. Lemasani became verbally abusive. refused to give Nicole a key to the house, and would go through her personal things when she was gone. Contessa says Lemisani even went through Nicole's personal writings on her laptop and confronted her about it. Obviously, it just wasn't a good situation. But I really wanted to get a better understanding of who Lemisani is. So I asked Contessa to tell me more about what she knew about her.
So yes, she is a self-proclaimed street pastor, preacher. I don't know where if she has an actual church where she where people attend regularly. I think she's completely bogus. I think that she spews out a lot of religious speak, but I think it's just to get people to follow her and to be deceived and manipulated by her. I think is all it is. Unfortunately, Nikki fell victim to it. I feel like Lemisani was just always looking for, the next person to prey on, the next person to take advantage of. And Nikki is easily that person because she is so giving and so kind, and to a fault, to where she's kind of naive and then people like Lemisani take advantage of her.
While living with Lemisani, Nicole gets an offer for more affordable childcare from Lemisani's nieces, Helena and Ciolo Hearn. They tell Nicole that they understand what she's going through with Lemisani, and they aren't even on speaking terms with their aunt. They'd be happy to watch Arianna for less than what Lemisani is charging her. So Nicole agrees, and Arianna begins spending a lot of time with Helena and Ciolo Hearn, as well as Helena's husband, Devin Martin. Nicole's former roommate, Claire, told SanFranciscoWeekly.com, quote, "She told me, yeah, these are Lemisani's nieces, but they're not really on good terms, so I'm not afraid. I know they don't really talk to each other, so I feel like I can trust them," end quote. Claire says she basically begged Nicole to find anyone else to watch Arianna. But she couldn't pass up on more affordable childcare from people she thought she could trust. Unfortunately, after this, life only got harder for Nicole. Lemisani began charging Nicole more for rent to make up for the lost babysitting income, and seemed to just get nastier to her all around, calling her names and continuing to invade her privacy. Finally, enough was enough, and in November 2015, Contessa and Claire went to physically remove Nicole and Arianna from the situation, calling on the San Francisco PD for backup.
The next day, Nikki called me up and, she couldn't take it anymore. And sure enough, Claire and I, we came and we got them. And it wasn't easy because Lemisani wasn't having it. And, she wouldn't let Nikki get any of her stuff. And, just to be, precautious, we decided to have a cop come with us because we knew there was a possibility that it could get ugly. So we had a cop just, come with us so that, it could be as peaceful as possible. And yeah, she just was not budging. She was refusing to let Nikki in to get any of her stuff, to even get the car seat for Arianna so that, we could drive with her in the car. And, once we did, get out of there, she's just, sending Nikki terrible texts, and she's like, "Bring me my baby back." And, so she was, she got very possessive.
Like Contessa touched on, at this point, Lemisani began texting Nicole, telling her to bring her baby back, meaning Arianna. But Nicole tried to move on with her life the best she could. She didn't have a car, so she was using public transportation to commute over 2 hours each way from Santa Cruz to San Francisco to her job at Best Buy. She was also trying to get all the hours she could to improve her situation, so oftentimes she'd work overnight shifts, crash on someone's couch for a few hours, and then go back to work, leaving Arianna with Helena or Ciolo. Luckily, at Best Buy, Nicole met a few friends that really helped her out, including Goyette Williams, who eventually offered to let Nicole and Arianna move in with her. By all accounts, Nicole was very excited for this. She even saved up enough money to get Arianna a new bed and some presents for her when they moved in. But there was a huge problem. At this point, Nicole hadn't seen Arianna since mid-February, and we're now into mid-March 2016. This is when Nicole contacted Helena and Ciolo saying she wanted to pick up her daughter, but they told Nicole that this wouldn't be possible because they were out of town in Anaheim visiting Disneyland with Arianna. Now, if you guys follow me on social media, you know that Disneyland is my happy place. That being said, I know a huge part of going to Disneyland is taking pictures. So I asked Contessa if she ever saw a picture of Arianna from this trip to Disneyland. She had to think about it, but eventually she said no. She'd never seen a single picture of Arianna at Disneyland. And she said that she was pretty sure Nicole never saw one either, saying it was the type of thing that Nicole would have absolutely shared with her. So, as far as I know, there's no evidence to prove that Helena or Ciolo took Arianna to Disneyland like they told Nicole. The thing is, this entire struggle with Helena and Ciolo was something Nicole kept to herself at this time. So Contessa and Claire had no idea that Nicole wasn't able to get Arianna back. According to a statement Goyette made to True Crime Daily, Nicole was upset and told Helena and Ciolo that she was coming to get her daughter on April 3rd. But Nicole goes missing before that could ever happen. On April 1st, 2016, Nicole went to work as usual at Best Buy. She had plans to see Claire that night, but Claire had to cancel. So Nicole ends up hanging out with her friend and coworker from Best Buy, a man named Michael. They go to the mall to do some clothes shopping for Michael's new job, and at the end of the night, Nicole grabs a pizza to bring home to Goyette. During this time, Nicole sees a 7-Eleven convenience store and withdraws a few $100s, possibly up to $600 from the ATM. I've seen some conflicting information about the amount, but Nicole never told Michael what it was for. When she gets home, she and her roommate Goyette eat the pizza and begin watching a movie. During the movie, Nicole is contacted by someone, presumably either Helena or Ciolo Hearn, because according to a statement Goyette made to True Crime Daily, quote, "She was like, I have to meet my babysitter. She's over at some restaurant on 3rd Street. She's upset. I need to go see if she's okay. She said she was only going to be gone for 5 minutes." End quote. But Nicole doesn't come back at all that night. The next morning, Goyette wakes up to a text message from Nicole's phone.
So Goyette gets a text message, and it's from Nikki, and the text message says, I'm in Fresno with my friend Sam. Or like, I'm in Fresno with Sam, I think it reads. And so that message comes from Nikki's phone, and once we learn that, we're like, there's no way that Nikki would just up and leave late at night, go to Fresno, when she doesn't have a car and she has to work the next day. Like, Nikki would stay late for shifts. She would pick up shifts. She would come in early. She would be there whenever they needed her, let alone for her own shifts, but she would be there for extra time, overtime. There's no way she would just up and leave town and not go to work the next day. So yeah, when we saw that, we immediately knew that was completely bogus. And she also just wouldn't be like, I'm with Sam, because no one knows who Sam is. Like, if anything, she would just be like, I'm with a friend. So yeah, we definitely knew that was a bogus message. Which, it has to be, this all has to be done by someone who knows Nikki personally, because how could someone have Nikki's phone and know exactly who to text, that message to?
In addition to the late night text, a post was made on Nicole's Facebook account at 1:13 a.m. on the morning of April 2nd. So when she was supposedly with this random Sam person no one knows, it read, quote, "Spending some time with my 3-year-old, need the break," end quote. A few things stood out to Contessa about this post. First, she fully believes Nicole would have told her roommate Goyette as opposed to just posting on Facebook and not returning home. Second, in the post, break was spelled incorrectly, like car brake as opposed to needing a break, BREAK. Contessa says Nicole was a stickler for grammar and can't imagine her making this mistake. And last, Arianna was 2, not 3. So she has no idea why her sister would write that she was spending time with her 3-year-old. I asked Contessa if Nicole had a passcode on her phone. She said that she didn't know for sure, but she believed she would have, saying that she and Claire would actually poke fun at her for her laptop password being extremely long. Contessa believes her sister trusted someone enough to have the password to her devices, or she was forced to provide them. 4 days after Nicole was last seen on April 5th, her family discovers that she's missing.
I was actually, I was driving, Claire and I were driving. Claire was driving, and I was a passenger. And I get a text, and this is on the 5th of April. It's not unusual for, Nikki and I to go a couple days without talking to each other. We had spoken, I believe, the Sunday before the 1st, because that was Easter, and so we called each other up. So like I said, not unusual that we go a couple days without talking. And so I get a text message from our older sister, and the message is, "Hey, is Nikki missing?" And I respond back, and I'm like, "No, I just talked to her a couple days ago." And I can't remember if she told me. I think if she told me to look at Facebook, or if that was just my instinct. But I open up Facebook, and that's the first thing I see is a post with my sister's picture, and it says, "Have you seen this person?" And I am just in complete shock. Claire just pulls over, we have to pull over because we're like, what the heck is going on? And yeah, look at the post, and says that she hasn't been seen in a couple days, and we weren't that far from home, so we drive home, and then we're just trying to wrap our head around it, trying to figure out what could have possibly happened. And I'm not sure if that's when I'm pretty sure that's when we saw that first post, but yeah, we start trying to figure out who to call, work, trying to figure out who, Nikki is most likely to associate with the most. And yeah, so that's how we find out. Sister texts me, and we see the Facebook post.
From here, Contessa, Claire, and Nicole's other sister, Catherine, go to San Francisco to file a missing persons report. But Contessa says that because of the text about being with the Sam person that, again, nobody knew, and this Facebook post, the police said that there wasn't much they could do. So, like so many families end up doing, Contessa began her own investigation the best she could. I do want to ask, about your experience in kind of conducting your own investigation. And I have to ask, did you feel compelled to kind of put these pieces together yourself because you felt the police weren't taking it seriously, or is it just something you were naturally compelled to do?
It was actually both. Because the first thing we did was we did a missing persons report, and we started calling hospitals, and we started calling anything we could think of, very far-fetched, but we called jails, we called any place that we could think of that a possibility that she could be. And unfortunately, our interactions with the police was that because there was a message that said she was away, they couldn't say it was foul play. And because we didn't know if she was with Arianna or not, was another reason they couldn't say it was foul play. If we knew where Arianna was and just didn't know where Nikki was, or the other way around, then they would be able to do more as far as ping Nikki's phone. And they couldn't do any of that, which was very frustrating. But, at the same time, I had to understand that they if they can't do it, they can't do it. But so yeah, that's what causes us to have to, do our own digging and resources. We got a hold of Nikki's friend Michael, and try to figure out, what took place the last time they saw each other. We got a hold of Nikki's roommate Goyette, who I met Michael once before. They had come by, Nikki and Michael, to Santa Cruz. I had never met Goyette before. So yeah, learned how to get a hold of them and, figure out what they knew. Try to figure out who the babysitters were, like, because, whenever Nikki talked about them, she just, referenced the babysitter. She never said, Helena. She never said Ciolo. So, we're trying to figure out who they were and how to get a hold of them. Like, we went to Best Buy to look at her emergency contact list. Hopefully they were on there. They weren't. So, combing through social media, Claire and I had remembered dropping Nikki and Arianna off at Helena's apartment one morning. We didn't see her or anything. We had gone there, and it was probably like 5 a.m, and we were just parked outside the apartment, and Nikki tried to call her, she didn't answer, and so we ended up driving Arianna to I think it was Ciolo, the other babysitter. So during the time that we were doing our investigation, like, we didn't know their names, we didn't actually know their address, but we just drove to Oakland, and we were like, we know it's near the Greyhound station, so we found the Greyhound station, and we just started driving around there until we found the apartment. And then we got pictures of the apartment, and yeah, we just had to do a lot of our own investigating. And then we documented everyththing. We wrote down, like, names of people who, once we figured out the babysitters' names, we wrote down, we typed out their names and addresses and everything, so that we could hand all that over to the police. There was a lot of information that we figured out on our own.
Now, Contessa and Claire did try to get in contact with the Hearn sisters. Claire actually sent Ciolo a friend request on Facebook, and she accepted it. So Claire sent Ciolo a message asking if she'd seen Nicole or Arianna, but she never responded. Then they got the news they'd been dreading. Nicole's remains had been located. This episode of Voices for Justice is sponsored by Chewy. If you have pets, you probably know about Chewy, and you also know that when they say that they have everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy, they're not messing around. To keep them happy, Chewy has over 100,000 products from all the brands my pets love at prices I love. To keep them healthy, Chewy offers pet prescriptions, pet insurance, telehealth vet visits, and they're even rolling out vet clinics across the country. I've been shopping with them for a very long time. And in addition to the auto-ship feature that gets the dog's food to them every single month, I also love to experiment with different treats. But I'm a bit picky. For me, it has to be high quality with simple ingredients. I recently picked up treats from Shepherd Boy Farms that are 100% just chicken breast. Popcorn and Heber are already obsessed. Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. And right now, you can save $20 on your first order and get free shipping by going to chewpanions.chewy.com/SarahETurney. That's chewpanions.chewy.com/SarahETurney to save $20 on your first order with free shipping. chewpanions.chewy.com/SarahETurney. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See site for complete details.
What they did to your family, you're lucky to make it out alive.
Streaming on Peacock.
These men are going to come after me. Taking them out is my only chance.
Put a bullet in her head.
From the co-creator of Ozark.
Looks like a family was running drugs.
Execution-style killing is rare for the Keys. Any leads on who they might have been running for?
The cartel killed my family. I'm gonna kill them. All of them.
MIA. Streaming now. Only on Peacock.
On April 8, 2016, a Parks and Recreation employee found Nicole in a shallow grave in McLaren Park in San Francisco. She was in the fetal position and had been brutally beaten. She was covered by a piece of plywood with a symbol painted on it. You can find a picture of the actual piece of plywood on my social media channels and the website. But the best way I can describe the symbol is it almost looks like someone drew a grocery bag with a large circle on it. Or if anyone is familiar with the popular video game Among Us, it almost looks like one of the characters turned upside down. Though I do have to mention Nicole was found years before this video game came out. I'm just trying to give you some type of reference point. As far as I could find, no one really knows what the meaning of this symbol is, or if it has any meaning at all. It's entirely possible that whoever did this just found a piece of plywood laying around, and what was painted on it was just random graffiti. Now, before we really get into the investigation, let's talk about McLaren Park. According to their website, quote, at 313 acres, McLaren Park, San Francisco's second largest park, offers a wide range of both active and passive recreational opportunities. These elements range from trails and paths to 6 playgrounds, 5 picnic areas, tennis and basketball courts, an amphitheater, natural areas, a clubhouse, an off-leash dog play area, golf course, reservoir lake, marsh, baseball diamonds, and other amenities. The park has significant topographic changes, with over 225 feet of elevation change, and sweeping vistas of downtown San Francisco, the East Bay, and San Bruno Mountain. End quote. You guys know me, I had to look further into this park. Apparently, it's really wild, and there were just a ton of overgrown hills and dense blackberry bushes and fennel plants. The city actually dedicated $12 million into renovating it. It was during these renovations, while someone went to finish repaving a pathway, that Nicole was found. But this is far from the first time someone was found dead in that park. In 2006, the remains of 5-month-old Camille Ferguson were found in dense brush. In 2009, gardeners found body parts of 32-year-old Amar Sharif Allah. He was reported missing in 2007. In 2015, 18-year-old Jonathan Caballero was shot and killed in the park. All of this to say, this park wasn't your ordinary park. It was this huge piece of land with some very overgrown and seemingly kind of desolate areas. It's somewhere many people before Nicole's murderer felt comfortable enough to kill someone and or hide a body. Contessa says that after Nicole was found is when the San Francisco Police Department began taking the case more seriously. The FBI has come out to say that they don't believe Arianna was with Nicole when she was killed, but they do believe Nicole's murder and Arianna's disappearance are connected. Not long after Nicole was found, search warrants are issued for Ciolo's home in Emeryville and Helena's home in Oakland, but Arianna was not located. Police would later come out and say that their statements were inconsistent, and they were not being cooperative. During the investigation, it was also discovered that Helena Hearn killed the father of one of her 2 children when she was 18. Despite initially facing up to 50 years to life in prison, she only served 6. Now, as much as I would love to tell you more about Helena and Ciolo Hearn and Helena's husband, Devin Martin, that's really all that's been made public about them at this time. Commander Greg McEachern told the media, quote, "We are confident that Arianna was in the care of a couple individuals. I think she's still in the Bay Area, and I think she's still alive." End quote. On May 18th, Best Buy offered a $10,000 reward for information that led to the recovery of Arianna, which I just have to say is pretty freaking awesome of them. Now, like we see in so many cases, at first there was a lot of media coverage surrounding Nicole and Arianna, but then it slowly tapered off. With financial assistance from victims of violent crimes, they held a funeral for Nicole and had her ashes put into a salt urn. Then they took a boat out into the ocean near Marina del Rey and put the urn in the ocean and watched it dissolve. As it dissolved, a group of dolphins appeared. Claire told San Francisco Weekly, quote, "Most of the time when you think of dolphins, you just imagine gray ones, but these were gorgeous. They had patterns all over them." End quote. A crew member on the boat said he'd never seen so many dolphins together at once, and so close to one of his boats. Obviously, Nicole should have never lost her life. but I'm really glad that they all had this beautiful moment while laying her to rest. Now, the police are rather tight-lipped about the investigation, but because it seemed likely that Arianna was still with Helena and Ciolo Hearn, as far as I could find, there were no widespread searches for Arianna. They weren't bringing out teams of hundreds of people to comb the area. In 2017, the San Francisco PD announced that they were searching a vehicle potentially connected to Arianna's disappearance. Contessa has speculated that it was Helena's car. At this time, the police announced that they are making great strides in the investigation. But what those strides are, we don't really know. Contessa told me that while she trusts the police are doing a good job, she'd like to see what some of these behind-the-scenes strides are, because progress is slow. In June 2021, Nicole and Arianna's case was featured on the podcast Inside the FBI. For those not familiar, this is a podcast produced by the FBI. In the podcast, spokesperson Catherine Zackel reported that there is new digital and biological evidence that they hope will lead them to finding Nicole's killer. In April 2022, a press conference was held to discuss the status of the case. Taking the microphone was Assistant Special Agent with the FBI, Scott Shelby.
It's been 6 years since Nicole Fitts was tragically murdered and since her 2-year-old daughter, Arianna, was last seen. It's been 6 years of heartache and uncertainty for their family, their friends, and their entire community. Today, we are here asking for the public's assistance to help us find Arianna and bring her home. I want to start by giving you all a brief update on the status of this investigation. After 6 years of a joint investigation between the FBI and the San Francisco Police Department, there's a great deal of information that we have uncovered related to this case. In just the last few months alone, we have developed many new leads. We have re-interviewed witnesses who have provided us with new information. We've had new individuals come forward and provide us information as well. We continue to re-examine the original evidence on this case, and that has led to additional evidence being recovered. Additionally, there have been significant advances both in digital and biological forensic evidence that is allowing us to see much more than what we knew 6 years ago. We know that 6 years ago today was the last time that Nicole was seen alive. Her remains were found a few days later, which was a terrible tragedy for her family. Law enforcement began immediately looking for Arianna. We do not believe that Arianna was with Nicole at the time of her death, but we do believe that Arianna's disappearance is related to Nicole's murder. We know that Nicole was a dedicated mother, a hardworking employee, and she deeply loved her family. We know that at the time of her death, she was working hard to find a safe and stable home for both of her daughters. And we know that Arianna has a loving family that can't wait to find her and bring her home. We can't share with you everything that we know about this case at this time. I know that can be frustrating, but this is an active and ongoing investigation, and we're not going to compromise the integrity of the case. We won't be able to release everything that we know, and there are going to be some questions that we will not be able to answer today. We ask for your patience so that we can protect the integrity of this investigation as it moves forward. I also want to talk briefly about what we don't know, and this is critically important because this is where we need the public's help. We ask that you take a long look at the photos of Arianna, which includes the new age progression photo. Please contact law enforcement if you have any information to share. Even if you have previously talked with us, we want to hear from you again. No detail is too small. Let us worry about assessing the value of that information. We believe there are multiple people with direct knowledge of this case who have not fully cooperated with law enforcement. We believe there's even a larger circle of people with indirect knowledge of what happened. Perhaps you heard of something or thought of something from that night. Perhaps you know more about Nicole's last movements or have heard some information about Arianna's whereabouts. We are asking you please to come forward to law enforcement. You can contact the FBI. you can contact the San Francisco Police Department. If you are uncomfortable talking with law enforcement, we ask that you would contact NCMEC, which is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. We will never give up looking for Arianna. By now, she is an 8-year-old girl. The FBI and the San Francisco Police Department are working with NCMEC to put up billboards with photos and age progression images of Arianna throughout California and Nevada. In the past year, we've reached out to the public through media interviews, podcasts, social media posts. We will not stop shining a light on this case because we know we need the public's help to bring Arianna back home. If you have any information on Arianna's whereabouts or the homicide of Nicole, please contact the FBI San Francisco Division at 415-553-7400 or through tips.fbi.gov. Tips can remain anonymous. You can also contact the San Francisco Police Department's anonymous tip line at 415-575-4444, or you can text a tip to TIP 411 and begin the text message with SFPD. That will guarantee the caller's anonymity. The FBI and our partners here at the San Francisco Police Department have an unwavering resolve to find Arianna and to find those responsible for Nicole's death. We will never give up until this case comes to a resolution. We will never give up until we have justice for Nicole and justice for Arianna. Thank you for your time.
Zootopia 2 has come home to Disney+.
Let's go!
Get ready for a new case.
We're gonna crack this case and prove we're the greatest partners of all time!
New friends.
You are... Gary the Snake. And your last name? The Snake.
Dream team.
And new habitats.
Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
You can watch the record-breaking phenomenon at home.
You're clearly working at
Zootopia 2, now available on Disney+, rated PG.
As of recording this episode, this is basically where Nicole and Arianna's case is today. No arrests have been made, and authorities refuse to name any suspects or persons of interest in the media. But Helena Hearn's attorney says that Helena has given police all the information she has, and, quote, now that they've changed her from being a witness to a possible suspect, I'm not going to let her give any more statements, end quote. But Contessa isn't holding back her feelings about the case, and I'm not going to censor her.
There's no doubt in my mind that the people who were babysitting Arianna are responsible. There's no doubt in my mind that Helena Hearn and Ciolo Hearn and Devin Martin are responsible for killing my sister and abducting my niece. I have no doubt at all. And I'm just surprised that they still aren't arrested. I mean, it boggles my mind that they aren't. I don't understand.
It's believed that Helena, Ciolo, and Devin are now living in the Las Vegas, Nevada area. Billboards with Arianna's age-progressed photo were recently put up in both California and Las Vegas. As a part of the process when I do these interviews for these cases, at the end of our conversation, I always ask if there's anything they'd like to add, anything they want to make sure makes the final cut of the episode. And this is what Contessa had to say.
But, I just I just want to say that I don't think I need to say, but, Nikki definitely did not deserve what happened to her. Nikki's life was just about giving to others and, taking care of her kids. And, she loved her kids. And, sorry. Like I said, she didn't deserve this, and Helena and Ciolo and Devin, they're just evil, and they need to be caught. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm kind of just, you know.
You don't be sorry at all. You take all the time you need. You say whatever you want.
Thank you. But, at this point, we need to do this for Nikki, and we need to do this for Arianna. We need to bring Arianna home for Nikki. Because if Nikki can't be here to take care of her daughter, she definitely wants nothing more than Arianna to be with her family. So we need to bring Arianna home for Arianna. We need to bring Arianna home for her family, and we need to bring Arianna home for Nikki.
You might have caught that Contessa said Nicole loved her kids, plural. Arianna does have an older sister. For her safety, Contessa asked that I keep her out of this episode, other than letting you know that Arianna's big sister loves her and misses her very much. That brings me right to our call to action. Please share Arianna's picture, especially her age-progressed photo. Contessa says she believes it's exactly what she would look like now as she approaches her 9th birthday. Contessa does hold out hope that the people who took Arianna are either keeping her safe or gave her to someone else who they believe would care for her. Authorities have also asked the public to share the photo of the plywood found covering Nicole's body in hopes that someone recognizes the symbol on it. As always, all of that information is available on my social media and website, so please take a moment to share that information. You never know who could see it and call law enforcement with a tip that could bring Arianna back to her family where she belongs. As a reminder, 32-year-old Nicole Fitts was found murdered in McLaren Park in San Francisco, California on April 8, 2016. She was a black female with black hair and brown eyes. Nicole's daughter, Arianna Fitts, was last seen in Oakland, California in February 2016. When she went missing, she was 2 years old, weighed approximately 45 pounds, and was 2 feet tall. She is a black female with black hair and brown eyes. As of recording this episode, Arianna Fitts would now be 8 years old. There is a $250,000 reward for information about Nicole and Arianna, as well as the additional $10,000 reward being put up by Best Buy. If you see Arianna, call 911 immediately. Anyone with information on Arianna's whereabouts or Nicole's homicide are asked to contact the San Francisco Police Department Homicide Unit at 415-553-1145. You can also text TIP 411 with SFPD at the beginning of the message, or visit sanfranciscopolice.org/tip. But as always, thank you, I love you, and I'll talk to you next time. Voices for Justice is hosted and produced by me, Sarah Turney, and is a Voices for Justice media original. This episode includes research assistance by Lena Gukaluk. To hear more stories hosted by me, check out my other podcast, Disappearances, only on Spotify. And for even more content, check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/voicesforjustice.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.